Let me bring in my first speaker on the guest, Spencer Critchley. He is the Democratic Communications Strategist and the author of Patriots of Two Nations. Thank you, Mr. Critchley, for joining me on the telecast. Your first inference of all that is happening, the kind of trading of barbs that is happening between the two candidates, the Democrat and the Republican, and how is the average American getting influenced by this diatribe that we see on a daily basis now?
You know, I would seize on that phrase, the average American. I think that's one of the key things that we have to understand in this election and the last couple of elections, is the sense of an average American is fragmenting into a nation, in many cases living within different realities. And we heard that in your news package just now. Donald Trump can present a reality to people who incline towards him that is an entirely different reality from the one that Kamala Harris inhabits and her supporters inhabit. For example, his stunt at the McDonald's, it's entirely invented, of course. It's entirely made for cameras. And he did it obviously because Kamala Harris actually did work at a McDonald's to put herself through college. And he knows that that's an attractive feature of her resume. But he also knows that in his world, images rule. In the world inhabited by Kamala Harris and her supporters, it's a much more information-based and text-based world. Now, people on my side of the fence, liberals, often say, yeah, well, that means because we're smarter. Not necessarily. My point is that people are thinking in completely different ways. And so this average American phrase, which used to have more meaning, is now unfortunately very much open to question.
Okay, all right. So then what do you make of these commentary that keeps coming in where Kamala Harris speaks about, Ukraine policy of Donald Trump, how if Donald Trump were to, try to negotiate peace, it is going to be in favor of Russia, and the Ukraine will see itself defeated, and NATO will become, crippled if Trump were to come to power. On the other hand, Trump has also showcased a very strong stance when it comes to the West Asia crisis. Do you think these two issues on foreign policy are something that are going to impact the elections, or they have no bearing whatsoever?
No, I think they do have some bearing, but this is another illustration of what I'm talking about here. Trump does the performance of strength, understanding that that's what's working for his audience. And in many ways, the way he communicates is in the same style as a medieval king would communicate. He uses language more to summon realities and to act as if he can actually control reality with his words, because he's operating under the divine sanction of God. And so a lot of what he says is nonsensical and does not stand up to a moment's scrutiny. But he understands again that his audience doesn't really care about all that stuff. They want somebody who performs strength. I think Harris is exactly right. The only way to end the war in Ukraine in one day is to surrender to Russia. And Trump has done that several times in the past, surrendering to the Taliban in Afghanistan, for example. But again, I can say that all day long, and it won't make any difference at all to his most committed supporters.
Okay, all right. I also have